What is up, comic fans? Welcome to the Legion of Comics. Today, we're going to be taking a look at James Gunn's Peacemaker Season 2 and trying to figure out what he has hiding in here. There's clearly a lot of Easter eggs. A lot of stuff is happening, especially now that it's officially in the brand new DCU. This is our first live action installment after the Superman film. So there's a lot of stuff that fans, myself included, are really looking for, hoping for, and trying to figure out. And we're going to look at some of that right after this. Don't forget to check the description of any and all my videos for fantastic links to amazing resources in this fantastic hobby, like BTC, JustinComicx Cleaning and Press, and ABX Comics and Games. If you need to set up a pool list, you want to start getting comic books, they got you covered, and they do free shipping on orders over 100. But let's talk about James Gunn's Peacemaker, one of the holdovers from the DCEU into the brand new newly formed DCU from James Gunn. It kicked off August 22nd. We're 2 episodes in and we're already into the weeds. There's a lot of good stuff happening here. We've already been reintroduced to the 11th Street Kids, or the crew from this TV show. And there was a lot of stuff in the first season, a lot of like callbacks to some old school DC stuff, a lot of deep cuts, a lot of new characters introduced, and some major cameos. The freaking Justice League showed up at the end of the first season. So going into this, a lot of people were wondering how this is going to fit into the brand new DCU. And that's one of the things that we want to talk about right off the bat and kind of look back to look forward. So in one sweeping scene, James Gunn like retconned the entire thing. So now it fits firmly into the DCU by just changing this one little scene here from the Justice League to the Justice Gang. And we were done, but we didn't stop there. We kept moving and we got reintroduced to his family that died off in season 1 in this alternate universe, in that pocket dimension that's in the closet to his dad's house, where we are reintroduced to his dad and a full-grown version of his brother Keith, who are acting superheroes, it seems, in this alternate universe. And that's where like we're really showing that anything is possible, and where some of the stuff in this video that we're going to talk about is really can happen. But what I want to look at specifically that kicked off this thought for this video is this comment right here. Steve G plays Economos, and he stated that Peacemaker Season 2 is like a whole, the final 3 episodes is like a whole new season, that James is so worried about spoilers that he wouldn't let his publicists watch the final 3 episodes. That's saying a lot, considering that we got the entire Justice League cameo at the end of the first season. What could he possibly bring to this season that's bigger than that, but like a bigger spoiler, a bigger deal? Who knows, being that this entire universe is in its infancy and that anything is possible. But James went on to say himself that I'm the one who's keeping the 3 episodes away from everybody because there's too many surprises in those last 3 episodes, especially number 6 and 8. They are just crazy. My favorite things I've ever done of anything. Now, that's really exciting news, but I do want to remind everybody that he also told us all that The Flash was the greatest comic book movie he had ever seen before it released. Now, I know it's his job to really pump up and hype up these movies, but I do want to try to keep expectations in check. But knowing that like no one has seen these episodes makes me wonder what could be there. So I'm going to go over a few things, 3 things that is I'm kind of like theorizing for this show, that I'm hoping for this show, and how they could potentially fit in. One of these things has become more than obvious after episode 2 came out, and that's the return of Rick Flag. The proper Rick Flag Jr., Joel Kinnaman. Now, it was definitely speculated that he'd be coming back. When the trailer dropped, it almost solidified it to a degree. We have Rick Flag Sr. firmly planted in the DCU. He was in Creature Commandos. He was in Superman. He's here in Peacemaker. Frank Grillo plays Rick Flag's dad, and he's in this season 2 of Peacemaker, and he's the one that's kind of keeping an eye on Christopher Smith, Peacemaker. He's the one that has the team on him. He's ahead of Argus now, and he's honestly just waiting for him to trip up so he can bust him because of what he did to his son. In episode 2 that came out last night, we saw that he now has the file on the exact events that happened to his son. So he's going to be coming down on Peacemaker harder than ever. He wants to take him out. But that's where I'm thinking that this pocket universe, we've been introduced to his dad, we've been introduced to his brother, who are good guys over there. Is this possibly like an Earth 3 scenario where if you were a good guy on this planet, you're a bad guy over here, and vice versa? Could he be a bad guy over there? I've been seeing a couple of people post pretty much right after that first episode that what if Harcourt, who is Peacemaker's ex that he was in love with on this alternate world, is currently dating him? Like, are we going to have a situation where he's going to end up fighting Rick Flag Jr. all over again, where he's haunted by what he did in his past in the Suicide Squad film? He's haunted by the death of this American hero. He's legitimately broken by it. It's something that's he's having the hardest time living with all through season 1, and he's still carrying it in season 2. Could it be like a moment of closure where these two get an opportunity to fight side by side against this bigger threat from the season, which that's what I want to see. I want to see him get closure by rocking side by side with Rick Flag and letting that be something that maybe Rick Flag Sr. sees and he's able to get some closure. I don't know. With James Gunn's zaniness, it's all on the table. It's definitely all on the table. But that's theory 1. And that one, he's showing up at this point. He's as good as there, which I'm extremely excited about. I'm a big Rick Flag fan. Got my figure up there. Got his first appearance over here. Like, I like Rick Flag. It legitimately shocked me when they killed him off in the Suicide Squad. It made my day, and it redeemed the character of Peacemaker the way they handled it in season 1 with not letting it be swept under the rug. So I'm glad it's still an issue in season 2 because his death has to be a big deal. And we get a chance to see him again. I think that's amazing. But moving forward, what could they possibly be holding for those final 3 episodes? I'd expect to see Rick Flag a lot sooner than the final 3. So let's look at what Peacemaker is. Before DC Comics owned these characters, they were owned by Charlton Comics. And it's not just Peacemaker. That character slap dab in the middle of this picture in the red and yellow, that's Judo Master. We saw him in season 1 portrayed very differently, but it was him all the same. So looking back on these characters, what can we look from the Charlton bag of tricks? As we know that James Gunn likes these obscure characters, and that's what Charlton really has. There's only a couple of these folks that are mainstream, pretty much being Blue Beetle and Captain Atom, the two at the top of the screen there. And those are the ones I want to focus on, specifically Blue Beetle first. Now, it's no secret that we have a Blue Beetle movie, but it's not the Charlton one. It's the one from 2006-07. It's the Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle, but he was trained by Ted Kord, the Charlton Comics Blue Beetle. Ted Kord, who was missing all through this movie, Ted Kord, who was in the post-scene credit as being confirmed to be alive, and we hear his voice on the radio. Now, we know that James Gunn stated on social media that Blue Beetle fits nicely into the DCU. While it was in the DC universe when it came out, it did no direct references to anything in main continuity. It just kind of placed itself in the same universe, so you could move forward with it any way you wanted to go. And he's gone on to say, and I've not seen anything where this is canceled or anything, that there will be a return of Blue Beetle in an animated series. Same actor who played Blue Beetle will be returning to do the voice acting for this. I think that's a good route to go considering the popularity of this character. That's a tough one. I think the Blue Beetle movie was fantastic. It didn't do a ton of money, but the animated route might be a good idea. But if we're going to continue Blue Beetle's story, we need Ted Kord. We need the Blue Beetle to train him. And not just to train him, for other reasons too. But you can use this opportunity of Peacemaker to potentially bring Ted Kord in. He could be lost in one of these pocket worlds, whatever, when he was searching for the Scarab. Sky's the limit. You can do whatever you want just to bring him into the DCU so he's here for when we get to that animated show later. And not just for the sake of that animated show, there's other confirmed DCU projects that are actively in the works that we have to have Ted Kord for. And this might be looked over, but Booster Gold. Now, this, I don't know if they've confirmed him to be the actor. Like he was talked about it, then it said he wasn't. Now we're back to saying he is. We don't know. We just know that the Booster Gold show is still in the works. It's still moving. And you don't do Booster without Blue Beetle. It's blue and gold. It's a buddy cop situation. You got to have both of them. So that's 2 reasons we need Ted Kord back sooner than later. And this could be a good opportunity to do it, being that they shared the Charlton comic lore. Now, the one that I want to see more than any of them, which I think is a total long shot, but I would love to see Captain Atom himself. Now, if it's that big of a deal that you have to hide it from people, that you have to do this and that, I think it's got to be something huge. Now, Ted Kord would be big. Captain Atom would be huge. This is like a cosmic level character. This is the character that Dr. Manhattan was based off of. Like he's that big of a deal. He's the nuclear man. He can go toe to toe in fisticuffs with Superman. This is a big deal character. And bringing one of those in, that's a good idea. Like you have other big powerhouses like Superman. He can only punch so many kaiju. He can only fight so many like super intelligent villains. You've got to have people for him to punch. And I'm not saying you need to bring in good guys for that, but it just starts raising the stakes of the universe. But there's reasons why we can speculate that it too could be Captain Atom, not just for the Charlton Comics history, but James Gunn has been caught on social media saying, I've been a big Captain Atom fan for a long time. So That's a hint right there. And then there was this one that came out a long time ago. This was an actor who, now that we've seen what he's doing in episode 2, I don't know how much validity there is to this, but Brandon Stanley was cast for Peacemaker season 2, and he went to social media saying, "Never thought I would submerge myself in goo to make another me." But that's showbiz today. Excited for you guys to see what I'm working on. So we did see him in the strike team, I believe, in episode 2. But could they be doing like some body double mocap stuff here for this guy? Could he potentially be Nathan? Could he be Captain Adam? I don't know. It's possible. I definitely wouldn't write it off. But those are my big 3. Like the Rick Flag thing is almost for sure at this point. Been looking forward to that, hoping for it. It's almost already for sure. But could we possibly see Blue Beetle? Could it be Captain Adam? What do you think that they're saving for the big finale of this season? Who could possibly be such a big deal that no one's allowed to see this footage yet? Do you think it'll be a Charlton character? We already know that he's make up another character with Michael Rooker's character, so that Eagly even has an arch enemy now. But we'll see what he's got planned. I'm excited for it. Every Thursday night, I'll be watching it right when it drops. Sunday nights, I do my live stream at Weeks In where we talk about spoilers and reviews from the week. So come by, chit chat the show. And don't forget to let me know what your predictions are, what theories you have for this season moving forward. I appreciate you watching. Until next time, as always, I'm Mark, but we are Legion.